Hello, witches. I am High Priestess Autumn Fitness. Thank you for joining me here live on either Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or X. I feel like this is a broadcast that needs to be spoken about, especially among witches. Now, as witches, we know that we cannot be enemies because we only have each other. Witches only have each other. We have nobody else. It's hard for witches to find real, genuine, authentic allies. It's hard. Witches always walk around with a target on their backs. Always. Everybody else can claim to be prosecuted, but nobody is more prosecuted than witches. If you are a witch or thinking about becoming a witch, you will have a target on your back. But the pros definitely outdo the cons. If you want real significant and permanently positive change in your life, real change, long-lasting change, lifelong change, then you have to become a witch. Because only witchcraft offers that to you. But there is a problem in our community that I want to talk about. Now, this broadcast is going to take about 15-20 minutes, so I'm not going to hold you. You know, I talk a lot about real world action. What is real world action? Real world action is doing a spell, ritual, hex, or curse, and then putting effort into it. Doing real world action, doing your part. It's not enough to just do a spell and hope for the best. Witches don't need hope. Witches do not need hope. Just do it. You don't have to hope that your spell, ritual, hex, or curse gets to its target or target audience. You don't need hope when you are a witch. Just do it. But I get a lot of backhanded compliments and a lot of angry witches and high priests and high priestesses that are mad about me talking about real world action. Why? Because some witches, especially novice witches, especially new witches, honestly believe that all they have to do is a spell and do nothing else. Why do they believe this? Because of movies, TV, and books, magazines about, even comic books about witches. No. Forget about movies. Forget about TV. Forget about books. Forget about comic books. That's not witchcraft. It's not real magic. It's not going to make you live a life that is magically blessed. It's going to keep you in this loop of hoping. Witches do not need hope. Hope for what? When you have hope, there is an area also of doubt. And I said this before. Doubt has killed off more witches than their enemies have. You don't need hope. These high priests, these high priestesses, and other witches are angry about me talking about real world action because it will ruin their clientele. So if a witch who is inexperienced or novice or just straight up ignorant goes to a high priestess and the high priestess tells him or her that all you need to do is give me money to do this spell and do nothing on your part, and that spell does not work because you did nothing on your part, it will keep you going to that same high priestess and never experience real significant and permanently positive change through witchcraft. That's a scam artist. That's a fake. That is not a high priestess that was anointed and appointed by the queen of witches Hecate, and they will have a traditional experience with Hecate. Nobody escapes judgment from Hecate. So when I talk a lot, and I do talk a lot about real world action, it's not enough to just do a spell. You have to also do your part. I said this several times. Nothing changes if nothing changes. You have to do something, anything. The spell helps things along, but it's your real world actions that will make that spell, ritual, hex, or curse materialize as you intended it to do. But if you are a new witch, a immature witch, or a witch even that chooses to be ignorant, a witch that chooses to be stuck on stupid. Let's keep it real. Let's use real language here, okay? Let's use real language here. You go to these fake high priests, these fake high priestesses for a spell. And of course, I understand how they ask for money, because it does cost money to get the materials to work that spell, ritual, hex, or curse. But for the high priest or the high priestess, didn't say, that's it, that's all I need. All I need is money to buy the supplies. You can sit tight. You can do nothing else. It's all in my hands. No, it's not. It's in Hecate's hands, or the chosen god or goddess that the clientele personally works alongside. It's not in the hands of the high priest or the high priestess. That needs to be taught more in covens, real covens. Because a lot of novice witches, especially new witches, are getting trapped in this financial spiral down into financial ruin. Run. If a high priest or high priestess or witch says that you don't have to do anything else, it's done. It's a done deal. You're okay. You're good to go. You're not good to go. You're not good to go. You still have to do your part. So if you go to a high priestess for a spell to help you pass the bar exam so you can become a lawyer, and you don't actually study for the bar exam, you are going to fail the bar exam because you did not do your part by actually studying for the bar exam. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. I'm not talking about faith with no works is dead. I'm talking about witchcraft. Witchcraft is a craft. That means you have to add something of your own to make that spell, ritual, hex, or curse materialize as you intended. I'm not talking about what Christians say faith with no works is dead. I'm talking about witchcraft. Witchcraft is a craft. That means you have to add something of your own. You have to put in an actual real effort. As a witch, you are required to go that extra mile. You are required to go harder. You are required to be better than the people that you are competing for that career, for that business deal, for somebody to see your vision in that business and help you make it prosper so that you can have an abundance that you can pass along in future generations of your family. That's just the truth. But I get a lot of hate from high priests and high priestesses when I talk about real world action. It's the truth. Why are you getting mad about the truth? As witches, we must always tell the truth. As witches, we must not have an alternative motive. For those fake high priests, for those fake high priestesses, their alternative motive is to just take your money. And like I said, I understand that you need money to go get the materials. But to say to your clients, that's all I need, that's all you have to do is pull out your checkbook or your Cash App or whatever method they use to get money out of you, and just go on home and do nothing but just wait for the spell to work, it's never going to work because you never did any work. You didn't do anything. You just got scammed. You just got scammed. A genius scam, but a scam nonetheless. You have to do real world action. So when people ask me, when witches ask me, how do I make my spell work? What work are you doing? They usually don't have an answer. They usually don't get back to me because I already know the answer. The answer is nothing. You're doing nothing. So that's why you have nothing, because you didn't do nothing. Nothing changes if nothing changes. You have to do something, anything. And more importantly, witches, it has to be a real effort. You can't study for the bar exam the day before the exam. You're not going to pass it. You're going to fail. And that's also just common sense. Do you really think that you're going to pass the bar exam by studying the night before it? You are not. And you do not deserve to pass it because you did not put any real world action behind it by studying maybe 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 6 months before. It's your fault. And as witches also, we know that we must take personal responsibility and accountability for what we do and what we don't do. Witches are the only genuine people on this planet. Witches are the only genuine, authentic, real people on this planet. Let every man be a liar and let Hecate be the truth. Let every man be a liar and let Hecate, the queen of witches, be the truth. I can't say it any other way but that. I have to use my language, real language, to really drive home to you the importance, the real importance of not being scammed, and the importance of doing real world action if you want that spell, ritual, hex, or curse to work. You have to do real world action. And like I said at the very beginning of this broadcast, you should not be hating on another witch. We only have each other. Witches have nobody else. Did you hear what I just said? Witches have nobody else. Witches only have witches. Witches only understand other witches. You can't talk witchcraft with someone who is not a witch or someone who is genuinely interested in becoming a witch. They won't get it. Some people become witches because they just want power, but no responsibility with that power. That's why those witches fail, or those witches have a death brought on them in result of being irresponsible with their own power. And that's the truth. We only have each other. I only have you, you only have me. The rest of the world does not deserve you. The rest of the world does not deserve you. For you to be in the presence of a witch's life, you have to earn it. But to hate on another witch that is telling you the truth, that's a problem. That's a big problem in our community of witches. That's a big problem, to hate on another witch in our community. That's a big problem. And that shows me how immature, insecure also that you are. When a high priestess like myself is telling you something real, something genuine, something that is truth, pay attention, listen, and see how that high priest or that high priestess's words materialize and work in your own life. listen to high priestesses like myself and high priest. Go to a coven that is anointed by that coven's chosen god or goddess or the queen of witches Hecate, so that you can make a informative decision on the route you are to take to make that spell, ritual, hex, or curse materialize by way of your real world action. So I'm going to continue to be promoting this 3 things. Real world action, because that's how you make your spells work. It's a little annoying to hear these comments, to see these comments and messages on how do I make my spell work. I already told you how to make your spells work. Are you doing real world action? Are you putting in a real effort? Are you going hard enough? Do you want it bad enough? Now you might be saying, well, some things are just not meant to be. Yes, that is true. But if something you want is meant to change your life or the life of your bloodline, then it is meant to be, and you have to work harder. You have to push harder. You have to be better than your competitors. You have to be smarter than your competitors. You can't let them outsmart you. You can't let them play game on you. You can't. You can't. As a witch, you already have everything inside of you to make your spell materialize, to make your spell work. You already have everything inside of you. It's all about weeding out these fake high priestesses and these fake priests who tell you that it's okay, I just needed the money. You can go home, relax, take a break, take a nap, whatever, and do no real world action. That's not a high priestess. That's not a high priest. That's a scam artist. And they will have to answer eventually to the queen of witches, Hecate, and she's not going to be happy with them. So thank you, witches, for joining me for this quick live pop-up broadcast that needed to be addressed in our community of witches, because especially new witches, especially novice witches, especially immature witches, especially ignorant witches needed to get this word, needed to get this word in their very bones, needed to get this word in their spirit and let it germinate. So thank you, witches, once again for joining me for this live pop-up broadcast. Once again, I am High Priestess or Seraphinus. Be sure to share this broadcast with other witches or anyone thinking about becoming a witch. Tell them that there is a High Priestess here in New York who is anointed and appointed by the Queen of Witches, Hecate, to be a voice for witches who have ears to hear and hands to receive Hecate's best. Bye, everyone.